welcome back. I hope everybody had a fun, safe, relaxing weekend. As I've been doing throughout the offseason so far, no videos during the weekends on Saturdays or Sundays, which is why there was no new episode either of those days, but we are back at it here on Monday. I'm actually recording this Sunday afternoon, which is why I'm in my Eagles gear, my Devontae Smith jersey, Eagles hat. I'm actually heading to the link for tonight's big Sunday night football game against the Detroit Lions. So hopefully the Eagles get a big win there in front of the Philly faithful. It's always go Birds, so hopefully it's a win, and I'm not just talking about it right now, and if they lost, let's not think about that. Anyway, you're here for Phillies baseball talk. So with that, welcome to Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Couldn't do it without you guys. Appreciate each and every single one of you. You guys have no idea how much you mean to me and to Phillies Daily here. Now, last week, around Major League Baseball, the awards were going on, the major awards, Manager of the Year, Rookie of the Year, MVP, Cy Young, all that fun stuff. All MLB teams were also announced, and the Phillies were well represented on the 2025 All MLB teams as a first team and a second team All MLB. First team, obviously, is the better team to be on. Second team is the tier below. But the Phillies had 4 total players, 1 on the first team, 3 on the All-MLB second team for 2025. They were announced this past Thursday. So, first of all, Jhoan Duran, the Phillies midseason trade acquisition, the closer. He made the first team All-MLB 2025 team as one of the 2, I believe, relievers on that squad. And then on the second team, Phillies starters Christopher Sanchez and Zach Wheeler, and then Kyle Schwarber, their designated hitter, all made the 2025 All-MLB second team. So congratulations to Duran on the first team, and then Sanchez, Wheeler, and Schwarber on the second team nods for 2025. Now, Los Angeles Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani, the 2025 MVP. He beat out Kyle Schwarber in that race. He also beat him out in the Silver Slugger Award for 2025. He also beat out Kyle Schwarber for the first team All-MLB designated hitter role. And then the other starting pitchers over Christopher Sanchez, Zach Wheeler. Now, we all know Zach Wheeler missed the end of the season with that diagnosis, his surgery, all that stuff that forced him to miss the end of the season, the playoffs. So it's not surprising that he wasn't on the first team, but still good for him to be on the second team because he's one of the best starting pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. But Christopher Sanchez, he was the runner-up for the Cy Young in 2025, received all 30 second-place votes. He was incredible, but somehow did not make the first team All-MLB. Red Sox starter Garrett Crochet, Pirates starter, the 2025 National League Cy Young, Paul Skeens, Detroit Tigers starter, the American League 2025 Cy Young, Tarek Skubal, Dodgers starter Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and Yankees starter Max Fried were the 5 starting pitchers over Christopher Sanchez for the 2025 All-MLB first team. Now, that leads me into the year of snubs for Christopher Sanchez in 2025. We all know how incredible he was all season long for the Phillies. He really broke out in 2024. He was a first-time All-Star that season. He got that contract extension mid-season as well. Really started to turn into an ace for the Phillies. But then 2025 just flipped another switch, headed into a new gear that who knows, people probably didn't realize he could have even reached, but Christopher Sanchez turned into a legitimate Cy Young starting caliber pitcher, obviously came in second place. This year, he's an ace in this league, not just on the Phillies, but really just one of the best pitchers, not only in the National League, but the entire Major League Baseball over the last 2 years, especially here this past year in 2025. Now, Christopher Sanchez did not somehow make the All-Star game in 2025, if you remember that fiasco during the middle of the season. It's still mind-boggling that he was not an all-star for the Phillies or in Major League Baseball. But besides the fact he was also the run. Now, we all expected that Paul Skeens for the Pirates was going to win the Cy Young. His name, just incredible stuff for Paul Skeens. But Christopher Sanchez was the runner-up for the 2025 National League Cy Young again. Received all 30 second-place votes. Somehow didn't even receive a single first-place vote. I thought that was crazy because Paul Skeens, he's incredible. He's dominant. But Christopher Sanchez is really, really, really good as well. And at least one of those voters should have gave him and seen that he was well deserving of the Cy Young in 2025. But he did not get a single first place vote. Still the runner-up. Paul Skeens won it unanimously. And then Sanchez now did not make the All-MLB first team for 2025. He did make the second team, so there's still a good honor for him. But some of the pitchers on that first team, kind of crazy that they made it over Christopher Sanchez for the year that he had now. Garrett Crochet and Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal, they're all understandable. They all should be on the first team. But then there's Yamamoto. He's also understandable. He had an incredible year with the Dodgers, but Sanchez did beat Yamamoto in the 2025 National League Cy Young voting to be the runner-up. Yamamoto came in third place. So kind of odd that Yamamoto made the first team over Christopher Sanchez in that aspect, in my opinion. But then there's Max Fried of the New York Yankees. And that is the most crazy one to me that made it over Christopher Sanchez. Fried over Sanchez, just insane. And I am going to talk about the numbers real quick at a glance here. Max Fried was 19-5. I believe he led the majors, or at least led the National League in wins with those 19 wins in 2025, but 19-5 with a 2.86 ERA, 1.101 whip, 189 strikeouts in 195 and one-third innings, 32 starts, a 4.4 B WAR, and he was an all-star in 2025 in the American League. Max Fried. And then there's Christopher Sanchez. He was incredible. 13-5, so less wins, same amount of losses, 2.50 ERA, better than Max Fried. 1.064 whip, better than Max Fried. 212 strikeouts, more than Max Fried. 202 innings, a few more innings pitched than Max Fried. About 7 innings pitched over Max Fried. 32 starts, the same amount of starts, and 8 WAR, which led Major League Baseball. I believe it was Major League Baseball, maybe it might have been the National League, but still incredible 8 WAR, which is significantly better than Max Fried's 4.4 WAR. And then he also threw a complete game, Christopher Sanchez. Max Fried did not throw any complete games in 2025. And then, again, somehow Christopher Sanchez was not an all-star. Max Fried was, but different leagues, so there's that. But still, Max Fried had 6 more wins than Christopher Sanchez, and he was an all-star not over Christopher Sanchez, but he was an all-star. And then Sanchez was better in all the other major statistical categories over Max Fried in 2025. So do with that as you will. Christopher Sanchez somehow left off the All-MLB first team for 2025 on the second team, but definitely a year of snubs between not being in the All-Star game, not winning the Cy Young, or at least not getting any first place votes for the Cy Young in 2025, and then not making the All-MLB first team. But people in Philadelphia, we all appreciate Christopher Sanchez. Obviously, he's one of our aces, if not our ace now moving forward. He's incredible. He's done so much for this team. Maybe not getting the recognition that he deserves nationally on a national level, but maybe that will come heading into 2026 if he puts together another dominant season for the Phillies. Now, getting back onto some more bright stuff, happy stuff, I guess. Not that Christopher Sanchez, it doesn't give us that because, again, he was incredible, but just talking about the snubs kind of down in the dumps. But now, getting back to a little bit more happy stuff to end up this video for today. Going back to Jhoan Duran, the trade that the Phillies got during the season from the Minnesota Twins to acquire the legitimate lockdown closer. Just great trade by the Phillies. We knew it at the time, and then we knew it throughout the rest of the regular season and all that fun stuff. Obviously, Jhoan Duran was on the is on the 2025 All-MLB first team, as I had mentioned earlier in this video. But that trade finally gave the Phillies something that they hadn't had in quite some time, and that is a legitimate shutdown closer. No more platoon type of closing situations that the Phillies were running between Orion Kirkring, Matt Strahm, Jose Alvarado, Jeff Hoffman the year before in 2024, just doing closer by committee. But now getting Jhoan Duran gave them a legitimate closer, kind of more defined roles for other relievers behind him, or I guess ahead of him in games with more setup roles, which innings they're pitching between 7th, 8th innings, whatever it may be, righty, lefty, but still more defined role. We saw the Phillies bullpen. That was a huge weakness throughout most of the 2025 season. Get a little bit better and look a lot better after the Jhoan Duran trade there at the end of July, heading into August in the final 2 months of the regular season. Jhoan Duran with the Phillies after the trade had a 2.18 ERA, 27 strikeouts in 20 2/3 innings. He was 16 for 19 in save situations for the Phillies. He started the season, he started his Phillies career after the trade from the Twins, a perfect 6 for 6 in save opportunities with the Phillies, including his first save with the Phillies being a 4-pitch save, if you remember that, against the Detroit Tigers. He also obviously has that electric entrance at Citizens Bank Park when he's coming in to close out a game with the song, with the lights, with everything, the fire, everything. It's just amazing to be at and see on TV as well. Now, he's only 27 years old. He's still in the prime of his career. He may only keep getting better and better. He will be 28 in January, so throughout the 2026 season, he'll be 28. But he still has 2 more years of club control won't be a free agent until 2028. If he has another couple good years here, these next 2 years with the Phillies, I'm sure they'll try to keep him around on a long-term contract to have him around as their closer for years and years and years. He proved to be a very good acquisition and a very good get for the Phillies. Overall, in 2025, between the Phillies and the Twins before the trade, he had a 2.06 ERA in 2025 with 80 strikeouts in 70 innings pitched, 32 saves and 37 opportunities, and obviously first team All-MLB in 2025. The Phillies only had to give up I guess it was 2 of their top prospects, but still, Mick Abel, the starting pitcher, didn't really have a future here with the Phillies. He had some success with them early on when he first got called up, then didn't really look good after that. And again, just not really a role for him in the Phillies starting rotation with Andrew Painter, the top prospect, expected to join the rotation in 2026, having Zach Wheeler, having Aaron Nola, having Christopher Sanchez, having Jesus Luzardo, potentially re-signing Ranger Suarez. Just no room for Mick Abel, so he was expendable. And then they also traded 19-year-old catching prospect Eduardo Tate. He's got a lot of potential, but still a very young guy. Who knows if he's ever going to actually be a proven or a legitimate catcher or player at the major league level. You never know with prospects. So to be able to trade those 2 guys for a guy like Jhoan Duran, just an incredible trade for the Phillies, and it definitely paid off for them. And now he gets that big honor of being on the 2025 All-MLB first team. Now doing a complete switch up here to end today's video. We all know the Phillies are looking for a new bench coach heading into the 2026 season. And we all know Don Mattingly has been a huge, huge name that's been linked to the Phillies for that role. Now, I believe it was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago now at this point. I don't remember. But Jim Salisbury, he covered the Phillies forever. He knows a lot of stuff about the Phillies. He was on WIP, one of the Philadelphia radio stations, their morning show recently, talking about the Phillies' interest in Don Mattingly as their new bench coach. Jim Salisbury said, quote, "It's been seriously discussed by the organization as in hiring Don Mattingly for that role." And then he went on to say, quote, "They have talked about it. Dave Dombrowski, the Phillies president of baseball operations, wants it. From what I've heard, that's his kind of guy." Again, talking about Don Mattingly to bring in as the Phillies' new bench coach for 2026. And then Salisbury went on to say, quote, "But coming here and trying to get a ring with his son, I think it would be a hell of a story." Now, Don Mattingly's son, Preston, he is the Phillies general manager. So there is a connection there with the family to bring in Don Mattingly. There's a connection with Rob Thompson. They used to be in the Yankees organization together way back in the day. A lot of connections here in the city of Philadelphia. The Phillies seem to want him as their new bench coach, and it should happen, honestly. He's been in baseball forever as a player, had incredible success, multiple-time All-Star, MVP. He managed the Yankees, or managed the Dodgers, managed the Marlins. He was just with the Blue Jays as their bench coach for their World Series run. He coached with the Yankees for a long time. So got a lot of baseball experience, both as a player, as a coach, in different roles. And he's the kind of guy that could come in and really help this Phillies team get over the hump, work with Rob Thompson well in 2026, bring in some fresh ideas, some new voices, and hopefully deliver a World Series championship for this World Series caliber team in 2026. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. Not really much going on in free agency yet. Again, that doesn't really happen until the winter meetings time around early to mid-December, where all the big names start to sign, or you start to have a feel where they may sign, the team's interested, big trades and all that kind of stuff. So I'll continue to talk about different rumors, and when news comes about, we will break that down as well. So stay tuned. It's going to continue to be a fun and exciting offseason. Again, appreciate each and every one of you. Hopefully the Eagles won last night, and hopefully we're all feeling good about them here today on Monday. Again, thank you guys for watching, and as always, go Phils.